Now they're talking about making kids in public school take statins every week to help their cholesterol. They are force drugging us, and they are setting the precedent to do this. And they know we're waking people up, so they're striking back. Again, here's the Mail yesterday. Fury in China as female babies grow breast after drinking milk laced with hormones. Now, here they spin it and go, oh, it's 7- and 8-year-olds by the hundreds of thousands going into puberty when you're supposed to go in at 12 to 14. No, no, no. Tens of thousands in the U.S., babies are growing breast. 3-year-olds are menstruating. 3-year-old girls. And then it burns them out, it accelerates their aging, and they get massive increases in breast cancer. That's all admitted. Do they take bisphenol A out of most of the plastic products and food? No, they don't. Do you know when you microwave something in a bisphenol A tray, it massively off-gasses it into your food? Years ago, I'd be eating plastic stuff that I'd microwaved. It could taste the poison. You wonder why you're obese? Americans were eating more fattening foods 30 years ago, the statistics show. But we're fatter and more unhealthy today because of the hormones, the bisphenol A, the sodium fluoride attacks the thyroid. Ladies and gentlemen, it's epidemic amongst women. Every time I'm sitting in a restaurant or go to church with my parents or just constantly, all I hear women talking about is, yeah, I'm 25 years old, and the doctor says I've got an 80-year-old thyroid, and no matter, but he's giving me hormones to help. Fluoride savages your thyroid, women. Bisphenol A savages your thyroid. Honey, you're not supposed to be fat on the small diet you're eating. You're not supposed to have your hair falling out at 25, honey. Most of the women I know above the age of 35 are having their hair start to fall out. It's epidemic. It's epidemic. And do the doctors say don't eat bisphenol A? Don't eat stuff and drink liquids and out of bisphenol A that lines all the cans, most of the bottles? Do they tell you when you microwave it? But, it hyperfeminizes and then accelerates the aging of women. Men, it makes us effeminate, and it makes us passive and reduces our fertility. Testicular cancer, off the charts. Prostate cancer, off the charts. These are the hormonal glands that are being bombarded with this stuff. So, the government says they're worried about techno music and they need to ban it. But they're not worried about fluoride. In fact, they want to make you drink it and other chemicals and bisphenol A. And at least in China, they get mad at 1-year-olds growing breast, 3-year-olds having periods. Not here. Go to the doctor, hey, my 3-year-old's having a period. We'll give her some hormones to block that and screw her all up. Thanks, Doc. Thanks a lot. My daughter's going to die of cancer in a few years. Thank you. Thank you for murdering her. Well, you know, I've gone into a rant here, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've got Mark, Issa, Scotty, and others that are patiently holding. We'll get to you with Catherine Austin Fish. You can speak about any issue. You know, we'll just get her on a date after. I'm going to start taking their calls for that little short segment, and then once we get her on, I'll take calls as well. Oh, she's at 1 o'clock. Well, good. I'll take their calls coming up next hour. I'm sorry, I didn't look at my list correctly. By the way, I went to Target this weekend with my wife to buy some pots and pans, and we noticed that almost all of the Tupperware is now glass because people are now aware of the fact that bisphenol A is deadly. So your purchases are making them convert almost completely over to glass. If you start demanding that from other manufacturers, we can beat this together with our purchases. But here's an example. I've asked the folks here to buy paper cups for coffee, and they usually have it. But I'm so weak-minded that when they do buy bisphenol A laced cups, and I pour hot coffee into it and it leaches, I still come in and drink the poison like Romans lining their wine jugs with lead. I bought a vitamin water that's got bisphenol A reportedly in the plastic and drank it when I was getting gas this morning because I was thirsty. I'm weak-minded. None of us are perfect. This stuff is laid everywhere for us. But at least keep your children away from this stuff, okay? I'm not perfect. People say, well, why did you just admit you're drinking out of bisphenol A, you idiot? I'm pointing out how I can't stay conscious of this. But you know what? For my children, for when they go to school, they're homeschooled, but they go to an academy that's 2 days a week. for homeschoolers, we have glassware for them. At least I'm doing that. There's no plastic that my children drink out of. Those little paper juice boxes lined with bisphenol A. You've got to do it, or it's going to screw up your sons and screw up your daughters. So at least I'm doing that for my children, and I'm trying to train myself to not ever eat fast food, to not ever eat processed foods, to not drink out of these poisons. And I've got a bunch of other news on this subject we're going to cover, but we're going to get to your calls first. Believe me, I haven't even gotten into the economic news yet. I haven't gotten into this incredible news where entire high schools are now enrolling everyone by law in the junior ROTC and then threatening them to sign papers and tricking them to join the military. So it's a new form of draft. They're also going to mount microwave guns in prisons and jails. It's illegal to use these in war, but they're going to use them against citizens. That's coming up after we take your phone calls.